Hey everyone, it's Tyler and Michelle Stroik from Universal Rackets, and today we're going to be going over how to have a solid backhand side up at the kitchen. A lot of players, everyone's good at their forehand, it's their dominant side, but when the ball goes to their non-dominant side, they're not used to it, and it's more restricted.
Yeah, and our goal today is to make sure that you become a well-rounded player on the pickleball court. I don't want to hear that you're a right-sided player or you're a left-sided player. I want you to be able to play both sides, and the tendency that happens when people start playing is they get pushed to one side or the other.
100%.
And then they lose confidence, usually on the left side.
And you know, the number one thing in pickleball when you play tournaments is what? What's the number one strategy? To target the opponent's backhand. So if you're playing competitive pickleball, players, they're going to start targeting this side, and you're going to have to learn how to deal with it. And not only deal with it, but create opportunities. And that's another thing that we're going to get to in this video. We're not just going to make the side solid by giving you tons of tips and tricks, but we're going to teach you how to be aggressive on your backhand side. We're going to be going over the one and the two-handed backhand dinks, speed ups, and volleys.
Okay.
So should we get started?
Yes.
Let's go. All right, so what do you think about this backhand side, Michelle? What's the number one thing that players need to think when they're dinking for their one-handed backhand?
They need to make sure to keep the paddle out in front when they're making contact with the ball.
100%.
The number one reason people miss their backhand dink is, I think, because of timing and paddle positioning together.
Definitely. And again, this is your non-dominant side, so you're not going to be used to it. And the number one thing where players go wrong is that they take their paddle back and they move it to the side, especially you have one hand, it's more flimsy on this side compared to your forehand side where you can position it. And they do all this excess movement. You need to think about your one-handed backhand dink, short and compact. Compact is the number one thing. So you always want to make sure that you keep your paddle out in front. Now Michelle's going to go for a one-handed backhand dink. She's going to turn this way like she's going to hit. And watch, every single time, her paddle's going to be here. It's never going to be going back here. And that's where players go wrong. So what does that mean? If you have to take a dink, you're going to take a dink. But instead of moving the paddle back when you get a ball close to you, you're going to take it out of the air as well. I think a big thing that helps with the backhand dink especially, and for your forehands as well, is by getting into your legs and dropping your center of gravity. By dropping your center of gravity, that's going to, again, limit you from moving backwards. Keep it here all the time. Now, what's one of our favorite drills to do for always keeping the paddle out in front is to put a ball in your armpit. If you ever want to hit really well and not take the paddle back, put a ball in your armpit and just keep that paddle out in front. If I move my paddle back, what's going to happen with the ball? It's going to automatically fall out. So let's demonstrate that drill.
And I do want to say something, because if you're watching the pros like Ben Johns and a lot of these high-level men's players, they really do this. It looks like they're taking their paddle back, but what they're doing is they're actually just turning their shoulder, and when they're actually making contact with the ball, it's in the right spot at the right time.
Ooh, that is huge right there. When you see the pros take the paddle back, or look like they're taking their paddle back, it's not because they're actually taking their paddle back. It's because they're turning their body. And that's such a big thing.
Well, you do it, too.
Yes, but I don't really notice that I do it, but
it could look like you're taking the paddle
you just
back.
gave me a light bulb moment right here. It's like the reason why, again, is okay, players think, okay, I got to take my paddle back and not turn my body. Notice my paddle's still out in front, but now look, I'm keeping my paddle out in front, but I'm turning at my
and give me the ball.
Upper body.
When he's doing this, I don't know if you can hear me, but when he's doing this, it's still at the right time. So it's like he's turning his shoulder before the ball even gets to him.
100%.
So the ball is coming over the net like this towards him. Now you're turning already, because when the ball bounces here, then he's going to make contact in the right spot because he's coming back this way with his shoulder, not his paddle.
Yeah, so I'm always keeping the paddle out in front, but I'm turning my upper body rather than taking my paddle back and turning my body. We have to make a short reel about that, but let me demonstrate it to show you guys. So again, this is where players go wrong. They're taking their paddle back and going. They're taking their paddle back and going. Short and compact. Look, paddle back, I'm turning my shoulder. I'm never taking the paddle back. I am turning my shoulders and my upper body to hit. It's always out in front, even if I have to take the ball out of the air. So look, I lean over. A great thing that you can do as well is I'm literally showing the front of my back shoulder. So I want you to pretend that you have a target behind your shoulder right here, or a light, and you want to shine that light at your opponent every single time. So again, I have a target right here, or a light shining on my back shoulder, and that's going to make sure that I turn my body. So we're going to do it again. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the back shoulder and go. I'm going to show the back shoulder and go. Show the back shoulder and go. The last thing I want to think about is paddle positioning. And Michelle, you can talk a little bit about where you want your paddle to be.
So paddle positioning is going to be referring to where your paddle is as it is contacting the ball. If your paddle on the back side goes like this and it tilts downward, you're going to miss your dinks. They're going to go into the net. And if you open your paddle just a little bit this way, now they're going to go over the net. Now you have to make sure that you're opening your paddle with respect to the ball.
Yes, and we had to talk about your body first, but the next thing is by just going like this, it's going to be night or day. Players, they go wrong because they're going to hit, and they're trying to hit topspin or do all this crazy stuff, and their paddle face is down. When you have your paddle face down, the ball is going to go down. If you want to have a consistent backhand dink, all you literally have to do, and this is way easier said than done, but keep the paddle out in front and open up the paddle face. Now, you don't want to open up the paddle face too much, but you want to slightly open it. Pretend that there's a light shining out the center of the paddle. You want it to be pointing upward. So all you have to do now is let the ball come, and it's automatically going to go up. I also want you to notice the movement with my dinks. Look how much my paddle's moving. I'm going from here to here, here to here. One more, here to here. Last one. Look, okay, I tried to exaggerate that one, but how much is my paddle moving, Michelle?
Hardly at all, and every single one of those dinks bounced in the kitchen, so I couldn't volley it. That's a neutralizing shot, so it's a good one.
And concise and compact. So, compact and concise.
Mm-hmm.
When you open up your paddle face, what's going to happen is the ball's probably going to go up. So by positioning your paddle, you have to make sure that you take a small swing. Because what's going to happen is someone's going to pause this video. If they're going to go, oh, all I have to do is open up my paddle. They're going to take a big, giant swing, crazy swing, and they're going to pop the ball up. So again, before, maybe I had a little bit down. Okay, if the ball's higher and it's down, I can still do it. And we're going to teach that with the speed ups in a little bit. But they're going to go like this. They're going to swing, and look, the ball's going to go too high. They're going to swing, and now, boom. And then you're going to comment, you're going to dislike this video, you're going to say Universal Rackets can't teach backhand dinks. Tyler, Michelle, you have no clue what you're talking. No, you have to limit your paddle swing. And that's why we taught you about keeping the paddle out in front by turning your body instead of taking the paddle back first, and then we talk about the paddle positioning. Now I want to talk a little bit about footwork.
Footwork means more than the paddle any day.
100%.
Because if your footwork is bad, it doesn't matter where your paddle is.
So with footwork, I want you to think for your backhand dink that you are going out on your outside leg and you're pushing off your outside leg. You're going out on your outside leg, you're pushing off your outside leg if you ever get pushed out wide. So again, this type of footwork pattern is when you're just in a normal cross-court dinking rally. So let's do a cross-court dinking rally real quick. And we're just going to go out to each other again. And we're going to go, I'm going to go out to my outside leg, go off my outside leg, out and off. Here we are. Look, I'm going out. So all I'm doing is I'm keeping my hips facing forward, and I'm just moving to the side. I'm literally moving to the side. I'm going on this leg. I'm hitting, and then I'm coming back. Sorry? And you have to make sure you come back to recover. Especially on the backhand side, I feel like it's really easy to just hang out there. And this is where players go wrong when they drill. They do this. And this was me maybe 8 months ago until I got beat up the middle. And then someone goes up the middle, and then they have to go and get those balls, unfortunately. However, though, you need to make sure, and if you want to get the balls, and I'll just talk about this, and then I'll be on that side. Let's do this. So you need to make sure that after you hit, you get back into the middle. So I want to make sure I hit, and once I'm done, instead of just standing here and having my opponent go up the middle, I'm going to push back every single time. I'm going to hit, I'm going to finish, and I'm going to push back. A big thing is, though, is you want to make sure you finish your shot. Players, they'll watch this video and they'll go, here, oh, I need to get to the middle, and they'll move. No, I want to hit, watch, I want to finish, smile for the camera, and then I want to go back. I want to hit, finish, smile for the camera, and then go back. Concise and compact.
Something else that I noticed about Tyler's dinks is he has great backhand dinks. He never looks up until his shot is complete.
Huge. You need to make sure you keep your head down throughout your shot. Not just for your dinks, but for everything. The moment that you pick your head up, everything's going to go wrong. Your ball's going to go up. Wherever you pick your head up, the ball's going to go. So you need to make sure you keep your head down and forward throughout your shot. Anything else that you want to add?
Returning to the ready position, because it's a compact shot, should be finishing here.
Yes.
As you're moving back to your ready position.
And you always want to make sure. So every single time that you're done, you always want to finish in your ready position. The last thing that I want to talk about, the one-hand backhanding, and then we'll get into the two hands, is by making sure if you have a super out wide ball that you're pulled out wide, you can step out in front with your opposite foot across by. So any normal shot, you're either not going to move or you're going to move to the side. But if your opponent hits a crazy angle, I can step in and take it like that. But again, after I step in, what's going to happen? I have to make sure I recover back. Now, Miss Two-Hander, let's talk about the two-handed backhand dink.
The two-handed backhand dink is going to generate topspin, and it is essential that the shot is taking with your left hand as the majority force.
Walking step by step. This is an amazing shot that she has.
If your right hand pulls the ball, it is going to be a disaster. So when you're hitting the two-handed backhand, like Tyler said, number one, you have to make sure that your footwork is before your paddle. So you want to make sure that your paddle is always out in front of you, but before you hit the ball, your feet have to be in the right position. So if I'm coming out wide, like he said, I'm over here. I can't show two hands with the mic.
I was thinking, let me clip you because...
Yeah, why are we not putting this on?
There we are. That makes more sense. Now she can use two hands for a backhand.
Yes.
Let's see it.
And my left hand is on top of my right hand, and we're dropping the paddle, and we're getting below the ball, and then we're brushing up. And we're looking down still, and we're brushing up here, and then we're right back into our ready position.
And a big thing, brush up again real quick. Here, look where her paddle ends up. This is a big thing, I think, more for the two hands because you have both your hands and your body working. They'll want to go away. No, you want to stay here once you're done. Every single time you end up here. Notice her take back as well. Look at her take back for a backhand dink. Same exact thing. It's never back. It's always out in front and then finishing up. So you want to think that you have a wall.
Yeah.
Take the paddle back. Look, she can't go behind the wall. I don't want to damage my cool new paddle. And then finish up.
And always remember too, the closer you are to the kitchen, the smaller your backswing has to be because you only have, 14 feet to work with here on either, like the kitchen's 14 feet wide. If you bring the paddle back, this is the shortest shot you have, is the dink. It's from here to here. What is that, 45 degrees?
Yes, I think so.
Is it 45?
45
no,
degrees.
Is it 90? It's 90 degrees.
I'm so lost right now. But yeah.
It's a 90-degree angle, like a clock. So it's from here to here. That's 90 degrees, not 40. This would be 45.
Yeah.
90. I know you don't like talking protractors.
Yeah.
It's Tyler's favorite thing when someone says, "Oh, you need a 90-degree angle." Tilt your paddle 40. Honestly, though, 45 at the kitchen, 90 from here, and then you're done with your follow through, and you're finishing back in the middle. So anyway, if you take the paddle back, it's going to be wrong, and it's never going to work.
All right, let's hit some backhand things.
Okay.
Hit some backhand things. Walk us through.
That would be my forehand. Oh, I'm hitting to your backhand. Sorry. No, I'll hit to your backhand.
Hey, who is the mic on? You. I want you to do it.
Oh. No, I'll hit. Just you do it. Trust
Me?
me. Yeah.
Okay. Sure? So when I'm hitting the two-hand backhand, I want to go through every single thing that Michelle went over. Another thing that I want to think about, again, is getting under the ball. get under the ball to lift it up. So when I hit, I want to drop my hands down, and then again, I want to finish up. All of my left hand is doing the work. The top hand does the talking, the bottom hand does the walking. So again, when I hit, I'm using my top hand. Another thing that I want to think about as well is look at my back outside leg. I am getting under and I'm sitting down. I'm getting under and I'm sitting down. One more. Under, sitting down. The more under or lower I can drop my center of gravity, the more I can get under and lift the ball and create topspin. A great example of this, I think, is we're watching Major League Pickleball. We're watching James Ignowich, and like he literally like sits down. Like it looks like he's like popping a squat or whatever. Like he's literally so down. So you want to think when you hit, you have a chair under you. I'm gonna sit in my chair and I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna sit in my chair and I'm gonna get up. That's gonna really help me get that type of topspin. And that's a really aggressive shot. And now I wanna ask you, come around here real quick. I wanna ask you, Michelle, why would you hit a two-hand compared to one-hand? What would make you hit a two-hander instead of one-hander?
Because I have a two-handed volley.
And this isn't it's an open-ended question.
Yeah, because I have a two-handed volley.
So you would prefer to hit a two-hander over a one-hander because?
When I volley and I take something out of the air, it's with two hands.
Okay.
So I sit in two hands almost all day. A one-hand would be if I had more time.
Yeah. And that's what works for
me.
you. For myself personally, I like the one hand when I need to get the ball back quick or I don't have to be super aggressive. I like to use my two hands specifically to be aggressive and create angles. Like those last shots that I hit. When I'm pulled out wide and I really have time and I can get under the ball, I like to use this type of shot to really pull my opponent off the court.
Your two-handed topspin backhand dink is way more aggressive than your one-handed.
Yeah.
You always use your one hand, though, in the games.
And think about it, like the one hand, I open up my paddle, right? I open up my paddle, I'm just going here.
And you have an amazing one-handed flick volley.
Yeah.
I don't.
The two-handed backhand, though, I'm going to be using two hands and really rolling up. And that's another thing, too. My paddle for the two-handed topspin backhand dink is going to be facing downward instead of being upward. So wait, how do we hit over the net if it's facing downward instead of upward? And
you brush up on the ball.
Up on the ball and dropping your center of gravity.
There's a lot of adjustments that need to be made, and that's why pickleball makes you live for longer.
100%.
Your brain's working 1,000 different ways just before the ball gets to your paddle.
So I would say more user-friendly if you're picking up the game of pickleball, 100% one hand.
Right.
However, though, if you are a seasoned pickleball player, if you're looking to add another shot to your arsenal, you would pick that two-hand topspin dink.
Yeah. And if you're learning this and this is new for you, pick one and stick with it for your next match. Don't go one hand, two hand, one hand, two hand.
100%. And that's another thing, too. Even if you miss, go for it again and again and again. The number one way that I got better for a two-handed topspin dink is I just did it over and over and over again to the point that it became second nature. And so pick something, drill with it, or even play with it the whole time, and just keep going, and you'll learn different shots.
Yeah.
So that is how you hit the two-handed and one-handed backhand dinks.
Yeah, and with those last few topspin dinks that Tyler hit me that were very aggressive, I pretty much had no choice but to take them out of the air if I was going to defend them because it kicked back up at me so fast. If I stepped back and then tried to hit a dink in return to that, it was not going to work because it was just too aggressive. So with the volley, you have to know when to hit a volley and when to hit a dink.
And that's what we're going to talk about now.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about the two-handed and the one-handed volley. Now, kind of the same thing applies. Taking the paddle out in front, keeping it out in front.
And your body has to be down when you're hitting a volley. If you're volleying like this and you're straight up in your legs, it's not going to work.
So for the two-handed volley, when do you like to hit the two-handed volley?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do that? Please walk us through the two-handed volley.
Okay. So the two-handed volley, if he's coming at me cross court every single time I'm going up the line. So he's dinking at me cross court. There's no reason for me to take this volley unless he was pulled out wide and there's a gap in the middle. I'm going straight ahead with my volleys every single time. And if I hit that person that's across from me with the ball, it's not intentional and it's part of the game, and they should be hitting the ball back at me. So let me see a high dink so I can volley it from over there. Every time. You want to go straight ahead because there's less space between me and this person, and you have to control your brain and use this as a habit. Every single time you get a high ball, straight ahead, straight ahead, straight ahead. You're looking to go straight ahead with a two-handed backhand volley. And now Tyler probably wouldn't take a two-handed from a cross-court dink. He would flick it, is what I think he would do.
Now,
what do you do?
Now, what makes an amazing two-handed backhand volley?
Using your left hand and committing to the shot. Anytime your right hand pulls, it will become inconsistent. So it's all in your left hand, being down in your legs, and your momentum's going forward. You don't lift your body up.
And keeping your body down. And we actually did a whole video on that where we're hitting and moving up versus staying down and keeping your body down. The last thing I want to talk about is by getting your paddle down. You have to drop your paddle, and you do that so well every single time. You don't keep it up here, you drop your paddle, so you're still getting under the ball. Yeah. Now I'm going to walk through. You have the amazing two-handed backhand. I'm going to walk through the one-handed flick. Okay. So the one-handed flick, it's more of a difficult shot. Not many players have if you don't come from racket sports, but this is why I am here to help you. So the main thing that you want to do with the one-handed flick, again, is always keep the paddle out in front. For two-hand, I feel like the two-handed volley is more user-friendly because you have two hands. It's going to be hard to take it back. However, if you have one hand, you can easily go back. So it takes a lot of self-control. So I'm going to keep the paddle out in front, I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to come up. Again, I'm going to drop my paddle down, and then I'm going to come up when I hit. I'm getting below the ball and then going under the ball. The big thing is with this volley, I'm not using my arm. I'm putting my wrist down, and then I'm coming up. I'm going from here to here, here to here. Tip down, paddle up. Tip down, paddle up when I hit every single time. Now, the big thing with these type of volleys is we went over the two-hand aggressive volley or counter. We went over to one volley, but now we got to go over the backhand block. Now, the backhand block is when a ball comes to you and you don't want to be aggressive. You just want to necessarily reset the ball or you have time. So when I do a backhand block, I'm just going to be right here. Again, the backhand block is the most user-friendly type of shot. It's what most pickleball players learn when they're starting out pickleball because 80% of their shots is going to be the backhand volley. But every single time, again, I'm going to keep my paddle in front and I'm going to be here. Notice when I'm here, I want to think that I have a target shining out the front of my paddle. It's always going to be pointing forward, and I'm going to be extending through my arm and my shoulder. The main reason why players go wrong is because they'll do this when they pick up pickleball especially, is they're moving their wrist. You need to think, are you hitting an aggressive volley or are you blocking your volley? It's a big difference. And even more advanced players, they get hairy in between. Should I take an advanced volley, reset volley, block volley? I'm either going for it or I'm keeping it short. Again, the main thing is keeping the paddle face forward for a block volley, but then also you can think keeping your knuckles forward. Now, they're not exactly forward, but how I would teach a beginner in pickleball or how to hit a block volley is paddle straight out in front, turn the paddle to the side, and then when I hit, knuckles are facing forward. Is there anything you want to add, Michelle, with the backhand block volley? Okay. Now, shall we talk about the speed up?
If you must.
So, the backhand speed up. Dun, dun, dun. So the good news is
keep it concise, because we could do a whole other YouTube on the triangle.
True. The good news is the backhand speed up, the volley, and the dinks, they're essentially the same type of form. It's just when you're making contact with the ball. Yeah. Seriously, it's the same type of form. So the backhand speed up is going to be kind of like the backhand dink, except Instead of going up on the ball, you're going to go forward more. The backhand dink, you're hitting and the ball's going into the opponent's kitchen. The backhand speed up, instead of just bouncing it into the kitchen, you're going forward at the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring the camera over there, and I'm going to go through that. Put it like right here maybe, but yeah. So the backhand speed up is typically a two-handed shot. Now you can do it with a one-hander. I've tried to do it with a one-hander. I haven't been successful with a one-hander, so I'm not going to really talk about that until I figure that out, which I'd love to get a video on how to do. But for the two-handed backhand speed up, it's just like a dink. When I do two hands, I'd probably want to put the mic on me, right? So the two-handed backhand speed up, look, the dink and the speed up, it's the exact same thing, except instead of going up on the ball, I'm going forward. So I'll do a dink, right? Let's do a dink. So catch these balls, okay? I'm going up on the ball. Again, a dink, I'm going up on the ball. Now the speed up though, watch, catch this one, right? I'm going forward on the ball. I'm pointing out. Instead of my paddle tip going up, my paddle tip's going out forward. So again, I'm gonna get down, paddle tips out forward. I'm going through, I'm propelling the ball forward. So the main thing with the speed up is the exact same setup. Keep the paddle out in front, get into your leg, and then go forward. Big thing with this is I'm using my wrists. It's not my arms, it's not my body. I'm not turning, I'm not going like this. I'm keeping the paddle out in front, I'm getting in my legs, and then I'm going with my wrist. Paddle out in front, get in your legs, go with your wrist. Now, the main thing with the backhand speed up is you want to make sure you do it at the proper time. If you do it at the wrong time or if the ball is too low, it's not going to work. When I hit the speed up, I can go down the line, in the middle, or out wide. And I actually just got a full pickleball lesson on this from our friend Zach that I mentioned in all of our pickleball videos. So that's why I'm super passionate about the shot. I'm not going to get too much into it, but again, the backhand speed up, the main thing is the same setup except you're going out.
And you mentioned about being smart with when you take a backhand speed up, and the best time to do that, I'm going to give you the answer, it's when you have a dead dink that's sitting up.
Yes.
If I see you have a dead dink in front of you and you're on the left side, I'm ready to counter because I just know you're going to speed the ball up.
100%.
It wouldn't make sense not to.
Yes.
So when you play with someone who doesn't speed that ball up, it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Because it like changes everything that's happening in the point because you almost lost your chance. Like you were given a perfect pickleball to hit, smash away, and you just didn't.
So if you guys watch this whole video, you guys are going to be solid on this backhand side. You're not going to just be afraid to hit a backhand. You're not going to be trying to get it in. You're going to get it in with intention. And you're going to be so much better off. Opponents, they're going to be afraid to hit your backhand side now. The one thing that I want you to take away is essentially they're all the same kind of shot and setup. Keep the paddle out in front. Don't take the paddle back.
Have good footwork.
Be compact. Kind of like the forehand, but again, it's your non-dominant side and you're more restricted.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is there's a variation of different types of backhand shots. More than the forehand, because you could do the one, you could do the two, you could switch it up. Using the right shot at the right time. If you can use these technical things and think about when you're taking each shot, drill with intention. I want you to go out and like when Michelle and I were trying to get better, Michelle, I'm gonna hit now every time topspin dinks, two-handed topspin dinks, cool. Now we're gonna drill. I'm gonna hit every single time one-handed normal dinks, or I'm gonna hit one-handed slice dinks, or block volleys, or counter volleys. Pick one shot, work on it over and over again, and you'll be so much better off.
And make sure that you're doing this with an actual game on the line, like before you are in a match. So play skinny singles, because you're going to get all different kinds of balls. It's going to be a surprise. They're not going to know what you're getting, so you'll be able to learn how to make those choices when it does matter on court.
Yes. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let us know in the comments below. Make sure to click the link to subscribe, share with a friend. Get better at pickleball. Don't share us with any of your opponents. And we will see you guys next time on court. Have a good one. Happy hitting.